All right, Rhett. We were just talking about your first song, When Mercy Found Me,
Yeah.
2012. When you heard that on the radio and you really realized this is happening, what went through your mind? You've been working on this for a while, and,
Yeah.
and here it is.
So I've never really had a plan B. Like, I'm the kind of guy that's like, this is my dream, this is what I feel called to do, so we're going to chase it. And there was a lot of work and years. I mean, it takes a while. We wrote 50-something songs for that first record. And so when we decided on When Mercy Found Me, it hit the radio, and then I'm driving and heard it. Like, I mean, there's no way to describe it. It was one of those feelings like, man, we've kind of, on one hand, like, we've made it. On the other hand, we've got so much work, you know, to go do. And that song jump-started my career. Like, it put us on the road where we were now going and playing festivals and people were singing that song back. And that's a great feeling to be like, they know the song, you know?
So, Aiken native.
Yeah.
Tell us, I mean, I know you came from North Carolina, but for folks here,
I grew up here. Like, I grew up for the majority. My dad's a pastor, and so he got a church in the Valley Heights church, and so he got that. We moved here, and that's kind of where my teenage years were, and where kind of I became who I was. Met my wife here, and now my whole family lives here. My grandparents moved, my aunt and uncle, like, everybody lives here in Aiken, South Carolina, and in Evans, Georgia, around this area.
So you've got quite a little testimony. You didn't just play a lot and write songs and then boom, it happened.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about your story when you moved here to where you became in 2012.
Yeah, before I played music, I just played too much. I went to Silver Bluff when we moved here. It was like halfway through the school year. I think I was there to halfway through the next school year before I was kicked out of there. But I was just the kind of guy that lived selfishly. Honestly, I did what I wanted to do and didn't really care about consequences or if it affected my pastor dad at a brand new church, you know, where he's trying to lead it. And that kind of led into, I met this girl and we got pregnant when we were 17, the summer before my senior year of high school. And so she actually homeschooled me my senior year of high school because I had to go work to pay for diapers, you know. My GPA went up, so that was great because she's smarter than I am. But we decided to get married. We're like, man, living this way really is not panning out. It's not working out, and it's actually made things more difficult. And so we surrendered our lives to the Lord. We surrendered to marriage and our career. I didn't sing or play music really before her. And I was singing some Tim McGraw song, and she was like, you know, you can sing. And they put me up on stage to lead worship one Sunday, and I've never looked back. I mean, that's been 18 years this year. So.
In churches, you sing here at worship. What's the coolest experience that sticks out in your mind?
I mean, being nominated for our first single, being nominated for a Grammy was insane because I didn't even know people knew my name yet. You know, we were at the Bridgestone in Nashville, and they called my name, and I was like, there's got to be an issue here. So like I said, that jump-started our career, and we've got to see so much. I think the biggest thing that still like kind of keeps me on the road, because it can get tiring and monotonous sometimes, honestly, is just seeing people come up to me and they'll be like, man, I was at the end of my rope and I turned on the radio and I heard this. Or it'll be a Celebrate Recovery coin that's like, man, I was stuck in this addiction for so long, and this is the song that I sing when it all hits the fan and I want to lean back in my own ways. Like hearing people's stories, and I'm going, man, I wrote that song in my truck on a back road when I was dealing with this issue, or I wrote this song, you know, with my friends when they were walking through this. And you think you're writing these songs kind of for yourself, and then you put them out on the radio and it's up to God where they go. But then you hear these stories where it's like, man, this song, like, this touched my life. And I'm like, man, it's cool to see God still today, like, use music just touch other people's lives.
In your country.
Yeah, I can't help that.
Right. So what's that like? It's a cool blend of Christian music, but a country tone to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's also kind of put us, you know, talking about cool things, it's put us in some great stages. I mean, we've played the Opry 13, 14 times now and got to stand in that circle where greats have. But also, I've always tried to be true to who I am. Like, I don't throw Jesus in a song just to get it played on Christian radio. Like, I want to write from my heart, and from my heart is is faith, family, and freedom, and I always add fried food on there at the end. Even though I'm 35 now, I have to watch that stuff. But yeah, Southern to the core, and just kind of, I mean, it's the CSRA, you know.
Yeah, and why come back? You had the opportunity to tour, and we were living in Nashville.
Yeah.
Why come back to Evans?
We were there for 12, 13 years, and my oldest is now the age I was when I had her. And so we've lived a lot of life in Nashville, jump-starting a career, getting all that stuff going. And man, me and April, my wife, were sitting, we're out to eat one time, and we were like, man, all we do is write or bus out of here. So if I'm not jumping on the bus or riding, like, we're at home. And my grandparents are still with us. My wife's grandparents are still with us. And we're like, for our kids to be around their great grandparents and be able to live amongst family, like, you can't trade that. So we built a house in Nashville. We're there for exactly a year. And we're like, we just packed up. We put our house on the market and just moved back. And April's parents had built out in Hepzibah, so they still had their April's childhood home they hadn't sold yet. So we moved back into her childhood home while we were building a house, and man, we wouldn't trade it for the world. I love the slow pace. I love being able to come home and be around our family, and I mean, that was it. Like, I would not. It's added some extra driving, but man, I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Is it cool volunteering for a worship team at what you can call now your home church?
Yeah, I love it. And it kind of, it's one of those grounding things where it's like being able to come back and be around family, go to our church, sit beside my wife and my kids in service, and whether I get to like help lead or, listen to, worship and be able to worship in the seats beside my family, there's something special about it. And we travel a lot. So this past Sunday, I was able to jump on like a first flight out. I left Denver at I think 4:30 or 5 in the morning and made it to the third service. I was dead tired, but being able to sit beside your family and worship together, like it's something big in our family.
What's your next goal?
My next goal? Barclay, that's a hard one.
What's your future? I mean, you've got 3 hits right now. They're great.
Honestly, I think being able to just continue to balance family and, a career, I think my next goal is to hopefully like land that better. We've worked really hard this year of going, this is how much I'm going to travel, this is how much I'm going to be gone, this is what we're doing with our kids, and how we're like, these are our priorities. And so I think my next goal, now that I feel like I've got a career, my wife's got a career, I feel like it's just honing in on trying to be a steward, being a husband, be a faithful dad, and point people to Jesus. I really want to be that guy when they lay me in the ground, they go, man, that dude loved his wife and his kids and Jesus. Like, if people say that, Grammy nominations are cool. I love the accolades and awards. They help with your career. If we weren't getting recognized, I might need to look at a different job. But man, the world can have that. I want people to be like, that guy loved his wife, his kids, and Jesus.
Future songs in the works right now?
Yeah, so we just released a new song. This is actually the first song we released to radio that I didn't write. So it's a song by Bethel called Goodness of God. And the first time I heard it, I was floored. Just because of, I think, our testimony with being babies, having babies, and, being a father of 4 and walking through so much in life. Man, life has been hard, but God's always been good, no matter what. Even when I wasn't, He stayed good. And so when I heard this song, I was like, man, I was kind of floored. And so we just released it. And radio's already picked it up. It goes for ads, like now. Like, it ain't even started going for ads till now. And radio's already playing it. So I'm just kind of hands off, stepping back, going, all right, God, do what you want to do with it. But I'm super stoked about this, and what people don't know yet is I'm probably going to follow up with a worship record. I'm super excited about writing something for the church right now.
That's cool. And final question, you've been there, done that. There are kids who look up to you, that watch you, that have followed your life. What would you give them advice if they're in a situation where you were in?
Yeah.
And you really just feel hopeless, and you feel like there's nothing left for me?
I would say hit your knees and give it to Jesus, because I'm a fighter. Like that's my personality is like, all right, if it's hit the fan, let's go do this. Let's go do this. And I realized with being babies having babies and a teenage pregnancy moment, if I continued down the path of Rhett trying to handle it, and I still do it, I'm the first person on stage to point people to like, hey, listen, give it to Jesus. But I'm the one that, when it hits the fan, I look in the mirror and go, Rhett, how can we fix it? So I would say always practice going, this ain't mine. And if I'm going to steward this well, I have to actually put it at the feet of Jesus. And so I tell people, man, sometimes giving up and going, this ain't in my hands no more is the strongest thing you can do.